In this lesson, we are looking at unit number 2 of Earth and Beyond. Unit number 2 of Earth and Beyond. Okay, and unit number 2 covers the relationship of the moon to the Earth. And unit number 2 has got 3 subsections. We have the moon, we have the gravity, and we have the tides, and all these are divided into their small subsections. We will start with the moon. Okay, they say when any object rotates in a set path around the planet, any object rotates in any set path around the planet or a star, the path along which it moves is called an orbit. So very important to know the definition of the orbit. Any object that orbits the Earth is called the satellite. So any object that moves around or rotates around the Earth is called a satellite. Satellites can be natural or man-made. The moon is Earth-only natural satellite. The moon, these are the characteristics of the moon. The moon is approximately 384,400 kilometers from the Earth. The moon has no atmosphere, water, or life in it. The moon has gravitational attractive force, which is 6 times less than of the Earth. So if you take the gravitational force of the Earth and you divide it by 6, you get the gravitational force of the moon. The moon has a diameter equal to approximately a quarter of the Earth's diameter. So if you take the Earth's diameter, you multiply it by a quarter, you will get the diameter of the moon. The moon does not really shine because it does not radiate. Okay, let's start again. The moon does not really shine because it does not radiate light itself as with Earth. The moon, just like Earth, simply reflects the light of the sun. So now let's look at the position of the moon. The motion, we will start with the motion of the moon. The moon turns around its own axis. So like the sun, the moon has got an axis. The moon orbits the Earth in 28 days. Okay. And the moon moves with Earth around the sun. So the Earth is moving around the sun, and also the moon is moving around the sun. And a revolution lasts 365 days, 0.25 days. So the moon takes exactly the same number of days as the Earth to move around the sun. The same side of the moon is always turned to the Earth. Okay, so only one side of the moon is always turned to the Earth. Therefore, only one side of the moon is visible. In the diagram below, we used a chair to represent the moon. So this is the chair. Okay, the chair represents the moon. In the diagram below, we use the chair to represent the moon. Do you see how the same side of the chair is always turned to the Earth? This is a representation of how the moon and the Earth turns. So you see the chair is always facing the Earth. So if this was the moon, only one side of the moon is facing the Earth, and the moon will move anti-clockwise around the Earth as the Earth moves anti-clockwise around the sun. So we will start with the half moon, we will go to a full moon, then half moon, and a new moon. Okay, and so let's go to the quick facts quickly. The Earth moon is called lunar. Okay, so our moon that we see, we called it lunar. The time it takes the moon to orbit the Earth is approximately 28 days. We've learned that. And the time it takes the Earth and the moon to orbit the sun is 1 year. Okay, we have already learned that. And here at the bottom, they say at different times of the moon will look as if it takes different shapes. Okay, this is because the human eyes sees different part of the same side of the moon as lit by the sun. While the moon orbits the earth, the rest of the moon is in the earth's shadow. Now, in the next paragraph, we look at the phases of the moon as it rotates around the earth. Phases of the moon are different shapes that the moon appears to have at different times of the month. Study the following table to better understand the different phases of the moon. We have the first phase is the new moon, okay? The second phase is the waxing crescent. The third phase is the first quarter, okay? And we need to move to the next page. The fourth phase is the waxing gibbous. And stage number 5 or phase number 5 is the full moon. Phase number 6 is the waning gibbous. Phase number 7 is the last quarter. And phase number 8 is the waning crescent. Okay, so we will look at the descriptions for each as we go. Okay, so let's start. Our first one is the new moon. The new moon for us is actually where we see darkness. There is nothing. There's no moon whatsoever. Okay, so that is the first phase. The first phase is the new moon. And remember, the moon rotates anti-clockwise. And then the second phase is the waxing crescent. Remember, whatever is on the right hand side, it is the crescents. So at the top is the waxing crescent. Okay, and then we have the half moon. All right, and then we have on the left hand side, it is the gibbous. So we have the waxing gibbous, we have the full moon, we have the waning gibbous, and we have the last quarter, and we have the waning crescent. So the way you should know and understand them, on the right hand side, it is the crescents. At the left hand side, it is the gibbous. And at the top, it is the waxing. At the bottom, it is the waning. So it will be easy for you to be able to draw and label, or just to label. Okay. So are we all clear with all the phases? So you can read there on the description for each and every phase. Let's read this important part on the quick effects. From new moon to full moon, it takes 14 days. From full moon onward, the visible part of the moon becomes increasingly smaller until there is a new moon again after 14 days. Okay, so from new moon to full moon is 14 days. And then from full moon to another new moon, it's another 14 days.